please stand for opening prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us this far, and thank you for bringing our class this far. Please be with us as we get ready to take the next step in our lives. Please be with us this weekend, help it to run smoothly, and be with those family members and friends who are still traveling. We love you, dear Jesus. Amen.
I'm going to read a poem for us graduates. So, looking back at so many moments and memories, I can only think of how much as a class that we've grown. And now that a part of our lives is now passing, we have so much more to look forward to. Be excited, because God has us in his hands and has great things planned for each one of us.
Hi, everyone. Today's speaker is Mr. Scott Fellows, and Mr. Fellows grew up in Massachusetts and attended Pioneer Valley Academy for high school. He later came here to Lancaster to attend Atlantic Union College. He has taught at several different schools and has even been a pastor. He has a son named Brian who attends Andrews University. Mr. Fellows has only been at our school for 2 years, but he has already made a large impact on the students. Mr. Fellows loves spending time in nature and has incorporated that into school by organizing extreme team events. Our class chose him as our speaker because although he has a quiet nature, God loudly speaks through him. He lives his love for God in everything he does and gives us an example of living the Christian life. Thank you, Mr. Fellows, for agreeing to share our graduation with us tonight. We love you.
Good evening. First, I want to thank the graduating class of 2008 for the opportunity to share with you collectively one more time. It truly is a privilege. Thank you for that. Secondly, I'd like to ask the class a question. It's a question regarding a current event and something everyone's been talking about. Have you heard about the newest Left Behind sequel that came out this week? I'm certain you have, but let me try to jog your memories a bit. It starts with teachers at a small parochial school showing up to their first period classes on a Monday morning. The students are there, but the desks have been raptured. Actually, I owe you gratitude because it sure made vacuuming my classroom a whole lot easier. And I got my desks back an hour later, retrieved from the men's room, after the hallway had been cleared of all the other pieces of furniture in the building. Apparently, that was the best rug cleaning that occurred all year, because when Rebecca entered my first class of the day, she asked, as if surprised, "Mr. Fellows, did you vacuum? It looks so nice." Thank you, seniors, for precipitating something noteworthy from the English room. Speaking of noteworthy, on a more serious note, your time as high school students is quickly running out. If I were to ask you tonight, what time is it in your life? I would expect an answer that would be relative to graduation, of completing one major phase of your lives and moving on to another. Answers full of hope and anticipation. But I'd like to ask that question in a broader sense this evening, with cosmic ramifications. What time is it? As Christians, the signs of the times shout the answer back to us. Let's begin with a reality check. This is kind of a potpourri of sobering statistics. As we speak, 1 in 12 people in the world is malnourished. 1.5 people live on less than $1 a day, while the 358 billionaires have assets exceeding the combined annual incomes of countries that contain 45% of the world's population. To satisfy the world's sanitation and food requirements, the bill for that would be what people in the US and Europe spend on perfume each year. The assets of the world's 3 richest men are more than the combined gross national product of the least developed countries on the planet. Every 3.6 seconds, someone dies of hunger. Assuming this program lasts 2 hours, that leaves 2,000 more people dead when we dismiss. There are 44 million refugees worldwide, approximately. There are 3.5 million U.S. homeless. Homicide has gone through the roof. On an average, more than 3 women are murdered by their husbands or boyfriends in this country every day. More than peripartum and postpartum cardiomyopathy, drug overdose, motor vehicle accidents, acute and chronic respiratory conditions, and cancer, homicide is the leading cause of death for pregnant women. Hate crimes are astronomical. 69% are race-related. Earthquakes are up 6,000% in the last 10 years. 1,450,000 shakers over 2 on the Richter scale occur every year. 156 of those are over 6. Other than the Noah's flood, the first major tsunami on record was in 1755 after the colossal Lisbon earthquake. Since then, the frequency of tsunamis has risen 600%. In the last 50 years, there have been over 51,000 tornadoes. And if you've been following the news, this year already has blown away previous records. According to the latest reports, last month, May 2008, is considered the second deadliest month for natural disasters in recent world history. Financially, the federal budget deficits pose grave risks. A Category 6 fiscal storm to the U.S. economy is what some experts are predicting. We have said nothing about domestic abuse, global warming, habitat destruction, genetic engineering, toxic waste, overpopulation, ozone depletion, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Welcome to Planet Earth 2008. What a time to be living. What a time to be graduating. I have an alarm clock at home that beeps its wake-up call every morning at 5 a.m. It produced its desired effect on me for a couple of months, and then its voice began to blend in with my dreams so that I was no longer startled by it. Some time ago, concerned that I would not be able to get up in time for my first appointment, I relocated the clock. Removing it from the nightstand, I wedged it between the headboard and my pillow. It worked for a while. Then it too began to blend into the background of involuntary thought. Similarly, in terms of where we find ourselves in the greater realm of time, the clock's tick tocks loudly, yet steadier, softer, and slower in its routine of talks. And the alarm has rung and has wound nearly to a halt, mesmerizing us under the comforter of familiarity. The inclination to lose our sense of time and its demands is reinforced, and our ability to hear the distinct wake-up call is deadened. And then there's a voice from Revelation, chapter 3, verse 20, that is calling to us this evening, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in." In this assertion, we hear 2 things: a knock, which is intended to get our attention, and a voice which identifies who it is that is standing at our door. It is the most important voice we will ever hear. But unless we know the one who knocks, we will not recognize his voice. And tragically, we may even know the one who knocks, yet because our minds are so preoccupied with other agendas, his voice may fall on deaf ears. His voice is one of many, it seems, vying for our attention, each demanding a response. The very fabric of our postmodern world is interwoven with all sorts of voices, and with each voice a choice. Which voices do you hear? Do you hear the voice of independence, freedom, self-reliance? Do you hear the voice of responsibility, accountability, sacrifice? Do you hear the voice of license, live and let live, party till the ship goes down? Do you hear the voice of power, control, manipulation? Do you hear the voice of drudgery, routine, work, work, work? Do you hear the voice of challenge, growth, progress? Do you hear the voice of uncertainty, doubt, fear? Do you hear the voice of meaning, purpose, direction? Do you hear the voice of faith, hope, love? Which voice do you hear? My guess is that you have heard all of them, which leads me to a much more important question. Which voice will you listen to? Well, you say, there are several voices that sound good to me. I don't want to limit myself, you know. He who has an ear, let him hear. Jesus said that if you are really listening, you will hear only two voices, and you can't listen to both at the same time. For no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. The contrast here is between that which is eternal and that which is not. Two voices, one echoing for eternity, the other transient and temporary. Take a look at the world around you. Peel back the beautiful and the wonder that still exists as God's undeniable thumbprint and take a second look. Peel back the would-bes and the maybes and the possibilities that we have glossed our world in to make it palatable to our tastes, and take a third look. Peel back the comfort zones of our little spheres with family and friends and church and school, and take a fourth look and a fifth look and on until you cannot peel back anymore and reality hits you straight in the face, only this voice or that voice, and the hard facts cannot be ignored. Most have not responded to the still small voice of God. Next question. Have you? Are you listening to his voice? Are you even hearing it? Our sense of hearing has been so overwhelmed these days. It starts off every morning with a ring or a buzz or a beep or a moo or a cock-a-doodle-doo. Then comes the shower spraying, the hairdryer blowing, the TV talking, the toaster popping, the telephone ringing, classmates calling, engines starting, school bells ringing, teachers teaching, students laughing, joking, teasing, and on until we long to seek refuge from it all. And when we do find time to pick up the book, we wonder why it doesn't talk to us, why its words of life seem so lifeless and stale and antiquated. God, where are you anyway? We ask, our eyes still twitching from the late-night movie, our feet still tapping involuntarily to the beat of the iPod wired to what used to be our ears. And if we would sit long enough and quiet enough to hear his reply, he would say, I've been here all along. Where have you been? Sometimes students come to me and ask, I know I ought to be a Christian, because it makes sense and it's right. But it just seems so boring to me. What can I do? My answer is always the same. Stop and take inventory. How are you spending your time? I've even had students keep a running log as to how they spend their week, hour by hour. The results are inevitable. Show me a bored Christian, and I'll show you a Christian who has put God in the back seat, at best, if he even figures into the picture at all. Christianity is not something that happens in Bible class. It is not something we do on weekends. It must be a moment-by-moment, living, dynamic relationship with Jesus Christ. All else is secondary. All else is periphery. All else will find its proper perspective when our all-consuming attention is to do the will of God. Well, you ask, how in the world can I get an experience like that? Have you ever wanted something so badly? I mean, you would have given anything, anything to have it. Maybe it was a toy, or a trip, or a relationship. Where were your fondest thoughts and affections centered during that experience? Where was your mind spending its time? You see, it's a choice. Which voice will I listen to? Which road will I take? Two roads diverged. Two ways to go, two voices beckoning. One voice vies for your attention through every conceivable method imaginable. It has to, because none of them results in any kind of lasting fulfillment or meaning. This is called the broad way. And those who choose the broad way with all its glittering lights and music and glamour find out, usually too far down the boulevard, that it has narrowed to a mere street, and that the lights are fewer and farther between, and that soon they are stumbling down a dark alleyway, the shackles of their choices making any kind of a U-turn almost an impossibility. Their destiny, a dead end. Ironically, the other choice, or the narrow way, has a broadening effect. It starts at a narrow gate, no glitter, no bright lights, nothing glamorous, only room for you and a cross to carry, and a still small voice guiding your every step, each leading to new depths of purpose, the path widening to greater liberties and possibilities until the horizon breaks and you step into eternity. You see, the irony of it all deepens when the truth dawns upon us that the way to the throne is not up. You can't get there that way. The way to the throne is down. The way to the crown is across. And now a parable. The Peddler, Part 1. I was sitting in my castle one day as the hours moved dully toward dusk. As I was sitting there counting my treasures, the weary sinking sun dragging its dusty yellow shafts across the marble floor, there came a knock at the door. I opened to a rather tattered wretch, a peasant peddler whose ragged sleeves exposed ancient hands, holding a package, a rather dirty package. He said nothing, but our eyes locked, strange, piercing, knowing eyes. "What can I do for you?" I asked. "Nothing," he replied, but he looked very hungry. "Well, what do you want?" "I have something you need." "You have something I need?" "All right, come on in then." I closed the door behind him. I didn't offer him a seat. He was rather dirty. "You need some of my ointment," he said. "I don't think so." Yes, it will make a big difference in your outlook on life. You'll see things you never saw before. Oh, that's nonsense, I cried. You think I believe that? What kind of ointment would do that? Only mine. This man was wasting my time. I was trying to figure out how to get rid of him before he laid his dirty hands on my white blazer. I stepped back, but my curiosity was aroused. "Let me see this ointment," I said. "Oh, you can't see it until you buy it." "But that's ridiculous." Then I had an idea. "Can you give me the name of another satisfied customer?" He gave me the name of someone I knew, and I dialed him up, and I started to ask him about the peddler and his ointment. "Buy it," the man said, "buy it." I said, "Well, why? What does it do? What? Buy it," he insisted again. "No matter what it costs, buy it." I hung up. I was perplexed. "All right, let me have it. What does it cost?" "Well," he said, "it costs everything. But never mind, I'll come for it later when I bring the new clothes." "What new clothes?" I didn't need any new clothes, particularly not like his. I decided not to ask. It would only prolong his visit. This was the strangest man I'd ever seen. I took the package from him and ushered him out the door. Tearing it open, I almost dropped the small vial of ointment. The instructions said to rub on both eyes. Not sure I'd ever see again. I gingerly took a drop and rubbed it in one eye and then the other. It stung. When I opened my eyes, everything was different. The palace had become a hovel, a shack. Wandering eyes swept over the room and then fell on the mirror. Oh no! Instead of a white blazer, I was wearing rags. My face was dirty. What sort of black magic was this? The ugly truth of what I had become now dawning. This was the last thing I needed. How could I get rid of this terrible stuff? "Wait," I cried, "come back!" I dashed out the door, but there was no tattered peddler to be seen. Instead, just disappearing over the brow of a hill was a man, clothed in dazzling golden garments, whose crown caught the brilliant rays of a newly risen sun and flashed them back to me. The voice again from Revelation. "I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. Behold, I stand at your door, and I knock." Voices and choices. With every voice, a choice. He who has an ear, let him hear the still small voice that is calling to you and to me. Of all voices, this is the one who has the greatest right and need to be heard. He wants you at any cost. And so he knocks. "What are you waiting for?" he asks. "What do you want? Do you want me to get down on my knees and beg? Do you want me to hang on a cross and die? What do you want? Do you want more time? I've given you eternity. Isn't that enough? I've given you all of heaven too. Take it, take anything. The throne, you can have that. Just come, just let me have your heart. Mine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. But what is all of that without you?" And so he comes, and he calls Julianne one more time, and he calls LJ one more time, and he calls on Jeremy and Jeremy one more time, and Alina and Lori and Reynaldi and Guy one more time, Do you hear him? He comes and calls on you, Kelvin and Jason, Sean, Joanne, Omar, and Laura, one more time. He knocks at Erica's door and Rachel's door one more time. Tonight he is calling Ani and Chris, Precious and Jania. He is calling Amber, Kyle, Megan, and Ivan, Adam, Jenna. Jesus is outside your door. Won't you let him in? The Peddler, Part 2. The terrible, majestic throbbing of the drum like some huge timpani raises the solemn excitement to fever pitch. At last the army will march. Finally, the time has come to cleanse the kingdom of the last rebel stronghold. The rebel has harassed the king's messengers. He's refused the king's tribute. He's broken the king's laws, and the king has suffered long. No stone has been left unturned to win back the allegiance of this rebellious one. But now the army marches. The mighty warriors gird on their shining array. The order is given. The host surges forward. Today is the day of final victory. The commander calls to his side a bright warrior who soon rides off toward the enemy camp. He returns at length with sad tidings. He would not listen. Now is sent another who knocks on the door. I have a message from the king, he says. A ransom has been provided. Only lay down your sword and you shall be free. Are you listening? There's no more time. Won't you please surrender? His pleas are met with silence. He turns sadly away. The commander sends another messenger. Don't you understand? The warriors are coming. Send an embassage and make peace before it's too late. No reply. Now comes another. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Still no answer. And now from the hill on which sits the doomed cottage can be seen in the distance a sea of polished swords as the vast army, too great to number, extending to the horizon, marches relentlessly on. The very earth shakes with the mournful tread of their hoofbeats as the rumble of their chariots. The leaves on the trees tremble with the throbbing of the drum. Closer and closer they come. Grains of sand dance upon the ground. Suddenly the commander-in-chief raises his hand, and at once the army halts. He dismounts from his steed of whitest white. He strips off the stones of fire. He lays aside the crown, and over his golden garments he dons the robe of a peasant. With amazement now, every eye follows him as he climbs the last hill to the hovel, the last stronghold of rebellion, a hill called a human heart. The drum is still heard in hushed throbbing, throbbing, throbbing. He approaches the door. It's rickety with age, half off its hinges. There stands now the humble peddler prince. See his eyes. No door a barrier to those piercing, knowing, pleading eyes. And as 10,000 times 10,000 majesties pause, as the relentless drum beat stops, and as the watchers wait, slowly a ragged sleeve rises and an ancient hand begins knocking, knocking, knocking.
Voices and Choices, a wake-up call. What a cryptic title for what you're trying to say to us. A couple weeks ago, I came to Mr. Fells and I asked him a very simple question. He responded with this answer. He said, perhaps our problem is we always prescribe cure instead of describing the problem to the people. The class of 2008 sincerely thanks you for your message of revival, a metaphorical alarm clock. The lethargic motions of our life we've been trapped in, maybe this can cure them. Thanks for reawakening our senses, both physical, spiritual, and even emotional, to the heart-rending statistics that you read us. And once again, maybe, when the time of this world is up, if we listen to God's words and your voice, I'm pretty sure that our time isn't going to be up, ever. Thank you.
Will the parents of Jill Pictou please stand up? First and foremost, I would like to thank God. He always provided for me when I needed it the most. I would like to thank my mom for listening to everything and anything I had to say and providing me with a Christian education. I also want to thank my grandparents for helping our family out and always encouraging me to get a first-class education. And special thanks to my grandma for pushing me to achieve my goals. Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Rivera, Giovanna, and others from HIS for making me the person I am today. I would like to thank Jania and her family, who to me I consider my second family. They always took me into their home. I will never forget the memories I have had with you. I would like to thank Mrs. Archilla, who always had a lending ear and gave me excellent advice about everything. I truly love and respect you. I would also like to thank Danny, who has always been my rock when times were rough and supported me in anything I wanted to do. And last but not least, to all my friends, you guys make life crazy, fun, and amazing. I love it, and I will cherish all the memories we have had together. Love, Jill.
Will the parents of Alina Archilla please stand? Wow, where do I start? So many individuals have not only helped me, but have blessed me in many different ways throughout my life. The biggest thanks goes to my loving parents. I want to thank you for being there for me through both the good times and the bad. I want you to know that I have recognized every little thing that you two have done and still do for me each day, and although I might not express it, I'm greatly appreciative. I love you, Dad, Mom, Marcella, and Nicholas so much. To my extended family, friends, and best friends, I want to thank you for coming today to celebrate this special occasion with me. I'll miss you all so much. Each of you has been there for me in many ways that I'll never forget. I'd like to thank the Browning and SLA faculty and staff for their support each year. And last but not least, my class of 2008. We did it. We're finally at the end of the tunnel to success. We've been through a lot together, and I will always remember all of the memories that we created. I hope the friendships made over the years will last forever. You all will never be forgotten. I love you guys.
Will the parents of Amber Manning please stand? First of all, I'd like to thank Mom and Steve. You guys have always been there for me and have helped me through everything. I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for you guys. You've had patience with me, showed me mercy and love, directed me in the right direction in life, and accepted me for who I have become. I can't thank you enough for everything you have done for me. I love you both so much. Thank you. Daddy, what can I say? High school has surely been an adventure, but through it all, you still loved me and were there for me. Thank you for not only listening to me talk, but also always understanding where I was coming from, or at least trying to. That means more to me than you will ever know. Thank you, and I love you. Daniel, you have been the best sister I could ask for. You've always been there for me, even late at night when you're trying to sleep and I won't stop talking. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know if I wanted my steak medium well or well done. We have so many awesome memories, like trying to write our own song after watching that movie. Yeah, we're really that cool. And quoting movies day in and day out. Thank you for all your help so far in my life, for helping me in school, especially Spanish class, for helping me find my talents, for listening to me talk all the time, and for putting me in my place when need be. You have always been honest and open with me, and I love you so much for that. You are my best friend forever and for always. I love you and thank you. LJ, where to start? You really are the funniest boy I know. We've definitely had our good times and our bad times, but these last 2 years have been some of the best times. No matter what mood I'm in or how sad or mad I am, you can always make me laugh, and I love that so much. Also, no matter what situation we are in, we can always have a good time together. I'm very blessed to have you as my brother. I couldn't have asked for any better. I love you. Levi, you definitely take after LJ. You are so funny and quick, and making your own jokes is one of your specialties. So no matter what people say, don't let them drag you down. You are the sunshine to my dark and cloudy days. I love you so much, buddy. To the rest of my family, Nana and Grandpa, Auntie, Uncle, and Felicia, and everyone else, Thank you so much for everything that you have done for me. I love that we are all so close, and I wouldn't change any of you for the world. You've all done so much for me. Thank you, and I love you. To all my friends, you're all the best, and I love you all.
Will the parents of Ivan Hornet please stand? First off, I'd like to thank my mom and Joel for supporting me, loving me, and giving me a place to stay. Dad, even though it seemed like I wasn't listening to your advice, I was, and I took it. Grandma and Granddad, thanks for starting the whole snowball effect of Adventist education. Steve, it wouldn't have been the same without you growing up. I hope I didn't take too many years off of your life. Buka, I love you, and I will miss you a lot. And finally, Mac, thanks for always smacking me back on track when I veered off course. I miss you guys a lot next year, and I love you all.
Will the mother of Laura Mercurio please stand? Mom, you are the most amazing person I have ever met. You always put Francesca and me first, no matter what. Ever since I was little, you and Dad have guided me and taught me how to be a good person. I can't thank you enough. After Dad died, you stepped into being a double parent. You take on more responsibility than anyone I have ever met. Your kindness and love have inspired me to be just like you. The wisdom you have shown to me has helped me to succeed in whatever I do. I love you so much. Thank you for being the best parent ever. Dad, I know that you can't be here to hear this, but I wanted to say that I love you. You were the best dad, and you taught me so much. I had so much fun growing up with you, and I miss you every day. Francesca, I know that you and me are always having little sister fights, but you are such a cool sister. No matter what, I know you will always be there for me. I know that I'm going to miss you so much when I'm away at college. I love you. To all the rest of my family, thank you for being there for me. I love you all. Love, Laura.
Will the parents of L.J. Saunders please stand? It's finally here, the point in my life where I come from under your wings and enter the real world. Mom and Dad, I want you both to know that you have done an excellent job in teaching me to put Christ as the center of my life and encouraging me to follow my dreams. I love you guys so much, and I'm going to miss all the quality and bonding times that we have had, especially you, Mom. Going from a hardworking parent to a hardworking staying-at-home mom because you wanted us to be raised as Christian people. I'm going to really miss all the time we spent together and all the fun that we had. Dad, this school year has been tremendous, even though we have been through many changes. I really believe that these changes were awesome because I spent so much time with you, which was really needed. I love you, and I am happy that you instilled in me leadership and also Christian qualities. Now Mia, my mini-me, the one who has always had my back in everything. My stylist, the one who always put my church outfits together. I love you so much, and I'm going to miss you. I am especially going to miss being able to stroll into your room each morning just to see your beautiful face. Mia, stay strong. I am now handing over the leadership to you to take care of our brother and sister and to help raise them right. Now, for the twins. First, my little homie Cameron. You know I'm going to miss you so much. You are so fun to be around, always keeping a constant smile on my face and always staying energetic. I love you to death, and I want you to grow up to be a strong Christian young man. And for my little artist Courtney, the one who always made us smile by giving us wonderful pictures just because she loved us. You are an amazing person, and I am going to miss your calm and collected character. I have the best family in the world. It's nice having each one of you as part of my life. You have all made an incredible impact on me. Thank you for always having my back and keeping me in check when I did something stupid. I love you all, and I'm going to miss our memories, but I plan to make the future just as special. Once again, I love you.
Will the parents of Lori Bernadotte please stand? I want to say thank you to my parents. I love you, even though I may not say it much. Thank you for supporting me and pushing me forward. You helped me get to this point. I know you both will continue to help me go forward throughout my life when I have tough times. Thanks for everything. Love, Lori.
Will the parents of Kelvin Bidwell please stand? I'd first like to thank my Father in heaven for everything, especially for being patient. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for always being there, and especially for paying the school bill. Love, Kelvin.
Will the parents of Jason Blackman please stand? I just want to thank my mom for everything she has done for me, for taking care of me and just being her. I want to thank my bodyguards, Jason and Jorez, and sisters for being there for me. For my brother Jason, even though you could be a little annoying sometimes, I still love you. And Jorez, even though you wait until the last minute to ask me to do your hair, it's okay, I still love you. My sister, Jakila, sometimes you want to follow me wherever I go. You just wait and see when Jasmine starts following you. Well, I still enjoy your company and love you. Jasmine, you are going to be one successful young lady, so keep up the good work. I want to let my dad know that I really do love him. Also, I want to thank Dee for making me smile when I needed cheering up, and for his family for everything they have done for me. I also want to thank everyone who has been there for me in times of need. You know who you are. Love, JCN.
Will the parents of Rachel Boozy please stand? To my mom, you are the most important person to me. Thank you for loving me unconditionally and showing me the definition of what a real woman is. A lot of things have changed in our lives, but the one thing that will never change is my love for you. I am blessed to have you as my mother, and words cannot express how much I truly love you. To Nana and Dada, thank you for always being there and loving me the way you do. I couldn't ask for better grandparents, and I love you both very much. To Dave, thank you for also being a part of my life. I am blessed to have you, and thank you for treating me like a daughter and always being there for my mom and I.
Will the parents of Erica Brusso please stand? Mom and Dad, words can't express how much I love you. You raised me beautifully. You advised me. You've picked me up when I've fallen. You love me, and you've never left my side. Thank you for everything that you've done to help me become the person that I am. Cece, thank you for being the best big sister ever and for your big sister advice. Ellen, Thank you for making me smile and for giving me hugs. Roxanne, thank you for being your baby sister self and for adding hilarity to everyday things. You guys are the most amazing sisters I could ever ask for, and I love you endlessly. Tom, thank you for making me laugh and for teaching me a lot about college. To all my other family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, there are so many of you, and each of you has a special place in my heart as you serve a part in the family that I love. Stephen Reyes, thank you for being an amazing friend and for listening to me anytime I needed to talk, and for teaching me that saying, I can't, wasn't an option. Thank you all. I love each and every one of you always and forever. Love, Erica.
Will the parents of Ani Cunha please stand? First of all, I'd like to thank my parents. my mother for all the encouragement, and my father for all his support. I'd like to thank my brothers, Vanderlei and Eduardo, for all the laughs, inside jokes, and little things that made life more enjoyable. My Aunt Luza, Lane, and Nomia have also contributed a lot to my life. I'd also like to thank my uncles Ricciardi, David, and Adamar for becoming a new addition in my life. I'm thankful to my cousins, Bruni and Leo, for their love. I'd like to thank Lily, Gabby, Isa, Helen, Ingrid, Kervin, Rebecca, Katie, and Sumi for all the late-night talks and moral support that helped me become a better person. I'd like to thank Ita and Alcidine's family for making me feel part of their family. There are many people who have immensely impacted my life. I may not remember you right now, but you know who you are, and I would like to send a special thanks to you. I'd like to thank my teachers for providing me with a great education. Last but not least, I would like to thank God for giving me life and being able to enjoy everyone's company. Once again, thank you for all your love and care. Love, Ani.
Will the parents of Chris Dom please stand? First, thank you all for teaching me about God. To my mom and dad, I love you guys, even though I don't always show it. You've put up with my silly mood daily, encouraged me to dream hourly, and loved me constantly. Dad, those times we wrestled and I actually topped you once, you sat on top of me on my bed, and then within 15 seconds, I got you to say, Uncle. Mom, do you remember how I said I wanted to stay home from school because I didn't know enough? Even though I don't really try all the time, you guys encourage me to think, dream, and understand that I can do whatever I want to simply because I'm me. To Stephen and Daniel, even though we don't always get along, I love you guys. When we are together on Friday nights, it's usually an amplified cloud of stupidity and silliness. How could I get along without you guys? And Stephen, going off to get married on me? Shh. To Lori and Mark, that time I came in exhausted and asked for coffee, you laughed mischievously and said, he's coming over to my side. To Terry and Joe, Jessica and Michael, I love visiting you guys. Although Minnesota is pretty far away, so move closer, please. To my grandparents, my stomach always growls driving down those familiar roads. Thanks for invitations when I'm home alone, because most nights I don't feel like cooking for myself. Love, Chris.
Will the parents of Precious Irving please stand? First, I'd like to thank God, because without him, I wouldn't be standing here on the verge of graduating. Next, I'd like to thank my mom and dad. It's been real tough sometimes, but I made it. I'd like to thank Mrs. Hodder. She is a hardworking woman, and without her, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to attend SLA. Mrs. Sassoni, audience, the special lady has helped me beyond belief. I cannot thank her enough for absolutely everything she has done for me. She has truly inspired me in so many ways. Saying thank you is not enough. And last, but definitely not least, my closest friends, Cedric, Jill, Lori, Amaris, Kevin, and Christelle. I love you all. And in some special way, you have all helped and encouraged me, and I want to say thank you. And Jean, I want to say I can't believe God blessed me with someone like you. You are beautiful in so many ways. I want to say thank you, and that I love you. Love, Precious.
Will the parents of Jania Fernandez please stand? Dear Mom, thank you for all your love and support you've given me throughout these 13 years. Thank you for always sticking by my side, even though I've been slightly difficult. You've stuck by me through the end, and I love you for that. Dad, thanks for loving me and supporting me through the good times and the bad. Don't worry, you've taught me a lot and how to be smart in life. Those lessons I'll never forget. Tom, thank you for always being there to vent to and to laugh with. Thank you for helping me out when life threw me curveballs. You're a great second dad. To my siblings, yes, all 5 of you, I love you guys all so very much. I don't know where I'd be without you. To the rest of my family and friends, thank you for being there. I love you guys. Jania.
Will the parents of Adam Gurma please stand? Mom and Dad, I can't thank you enough for all the things you've done for me. Thank you for sending me to an SDA school and encouraging me to do the best in everything. I love you both so much. Leah, thanks for always being nearby when I needed someone to talk to. You're the best sister in the world, and I will always remember our lengthy games of Uno. Grammy and Grampy, thank you for providing us with a place to stay whenever we visit. I always enjoy coming to your house for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and our trips to Portland Headlight have been a highlight of my summer vacation. Aunt Penny and Uncle Danny, despite all the animals that occupy your home, you still found room for us. Thanks for teaching me the secrets of raising chickens. Jenna and Emily, you guys are the coolest cousins on earth. Your antics make me laugh and brighten up my day. Just don't grow up too fast. Aunt Sinate, I've enjoyed all your stories of life in Ethiopia. I now have a better understanding of that country, and maybe one day I'll get to see it for myself. Love, Adam.
Will the parents of Jenna Harris Hughes please stand? It's hard to put things into words in such a small amount of space. First off, I have to thank God above all else. I made it this far, and I couldn't do it without him. To my mom, my best friend, my all. She's the one who walked in when the rest of the world walked out. She inspired me, pushed me, and made it possible for me. I love you. To my dad, every morning I would wake up to, Jen, come on. Jen, you have to get up. Or sometimes, Jenna, let's go. Remember that time you picked me up from school on my birthday and we were dancing in the car? Dad, you have made a big impact in my life. I love you. Buddy, you've been my best friend, and I've looked up to you since I was born. From teaching me to tie my shoes, to riding a bike, and to talking to boys, you've always been there. One day, when I make it to the top, I'm going to invite all of you over and show you how to hang. Chelsea, where has time gone? I love you a lot. You will always be my older, younger sister. Andrea, I remember when I was little, I used to watch you get ready for high school, the makeup and clothes. I thought you were cool. I wanted to be like you. I love you. Arian, since you were born, we were 2 peas in a pod. Remember all the fun times. I love you lots, Bear. Savannah, you're my Vicky Vu. I love you. To my teachers, Mrs. Vandenbroek, Mr. Fellows, and Mr. Ban, you all have inspired me and pushed me to the max. I might not have liked it at the time, but I'm glad you did. To the Saunders, you guys have helped out a lot and made times memorable. Thank you. To everyone else, thank you, and I leave my love. To the class of 2008, we did it. 08, baby. Love, Jenna.
Will the parents of Megan Jones please stand? To my mommy. Mom, you and I haven't exactly had peaceful conversations throughout the years. Between Runaway and I Hate You journals, we have had our trials. What I realize now is that every argument we had, you had my best interest in mind. Our relationship has evolved into such a good one. I love coming home with you and just sitting on the couch to talk to you. You have done so much for me, like doing my hair and makeup for recitals, sitting in basketball practices, and just simply being there. I love you so much. Dad, you have always done so much for me. Between phone calls for pizza on Fridays, to basketball, trips to Florida, and sitting in my very long dance recitals. Throughout my life, you have always known what I am thinking, and I have to say it was irritating when I was getting in trouble. But I have realized how special it is that we have gotten to know each other so well. I love you so much and will always be your loud, crazy-haired little girl. Oh, Mindy, I think you have put up with the worst of me. I remember tagging around with your friends everywhere, especially when your friends were real teenagers. What makes you the best big sister ever is that you let me do that to you all the time. You have done so much, like Friday night stories, special talks, listening to all the boy drama, and of course, our favorite matching outfits. Thank you for everything. I love you. Franklin, living with 3 women was not an easy task at all, but because you are such a great brother, you never really complain about all the extra work you have to do for us. Even though we are older now, I believe we will always be considered as one of the kids. It has always been you and me, bud, and I know that we will forever be close. I love you lots. Nana and Grampy, you guys have done so much for me. You always did stuff like taking me on truck drives, summer schooling, and days at the beach. I will always be your Maymoo. Unky Rose, you're the best Unky. I love having our phone calls, giving you the scoop on what's going on in my life. I love you and will still always call to give you the scoop. Ashley, out of all the grandkids, you and I are the most alike. I love spending time with you in the summer, and I hope we can keep that up. To everyone else, you know who you are. Thank you so much for all the things you have done for me and helping me through life. I love you all. Love, Megan.
Will the parents of Kyle Linthwaite please stand? This is going to be short, sweet, and to the point. I want to thank my mom and dad for pushing me to do my absolute best in everything. Thanks for going out of your way to do stuff for me, and thanks for always being willing to help me with everything. You guys are truly wonderful, and I am so lucky you gave birth to me. I wouldn't trade you for the world. Thanks again for all the good times. Jill, thank you for understanding me like no one else could. Thank you for always being there whenever I needed you. You are a wonderful sister for anyone to have, and I'm happy that you are mine. Love, Kyle.
Will the parents of Omar Reyes please stand? First of all, I want to thank my dad for making me come to SLA and working hard to keep me there. I know you sacrificed a lot for me to come here. I want to thank my mom for making me a great lunch every morning. I want to thank my brother Stephen for being crazy and always up for anything. I want to thank my sister Angie for braiding my hair every week. I also want to thank Melanie for always standing by my side. I want to thank my friends for always supporting me in choosing what I do. Love, Omar.
Will the parents of Joanne Rodriguez please stand? Mom and Dad, thanks for everything that you've done for me and given to me in the past years. Every time I needed help for something like homework, or if I had a school problem, you were always there. You even helped me out even after I got into an argument with you or made you mad for my bad behavior. You did a lot for me, and I'm really grateful for that. I may never say it enough, but I do love you, and I'm glad to have you as my parents. Sandra, thanks for being such a great sister. You were always there to help me whenever I had a problem with a friend or with the family. You gave the best advice that helped me make some of the best decisions. Even during the time while you were gone, you still helped me out, and I really appreciate you for always being there for me. You're the best sister I could have ever asked for. And to my class, I'm going to miss the moments that we shared. A few were embarrassing for me, but I do admit that they were funny. I pray that God leads you to the right path for a great future. I love you all, and I'm really going to miss each one of you. Love, Joanne.
Will the parents of Sean Santana please stand? Mommy and Poppy, thanks for always being there for me when I was going through my struggles. I can always count on you for anything, no matter what. I appreciate everything you do for me. You guys are the best. To Shayla and Charlene, even though we fight and sometimes don't get along, I still love you guys. You both are awesome. Rebecca, thanks for being there for me this year. I can always count on you for everything when I need it, and to talk to someone, you were always there for me. To Kuko, you always supported me in everything I did. You always told me to never give up, and thanks for being there for me. Thank you, everyone that has been with me throughout my high school year. I love you all. Love, Sean.
Will the parents of Guy Sobral please stand? First of all, I would like to thank my mom and dad. You are the best parents a son could ever ask for. I thank God that he gave me such great parents. I wouldn't trade you guys for anyone else. You guys have done so much and sacrificed so much for me that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be who I am today. I want to thank my aunt and uncle for also being there for me, and also Philippe and Lace for being great cousins. I want to also thank Mr. and Mrs. Voyard for being like my second parents. Erica and Dee, you guys are the brother and sister I never had. Thank you guys for always being there for me and for all the great advice. I love you guys. Thank you, Amy and Steve, for being so nice to me all these years and for all the good advice. You guys never judged and always listened to everything I had to say. Mrs. Archilla, thanks so much for all the great talks and advice, and whenever I was down or worrying, you helped me get back up on my feet. Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Santana, thanks for everything too. And Mr. Santana for helping me start my basketball career. Ricky, thanks for being a big brother to me. I learned a lot from you. Kuko, you too helped me with a lot, so thank you. Thank you to all teachers who have made me grow and mature throughout the years. Mr. Loss and Mr. Cabrera, even though you guys didn't finish out with us, you meant a lot to me. All the teachers and staff, thank you for everything. Thank you to all my friends. I'm blessed to have all of you in my life. I can't mention all of you because I only have a minute, but I love you all. And to the class of 08, I love you all and good luck with everything. Love, Guy.
Will the parents of Jeremy Sorto please stand? Mom and Dad, thanks for helping me with school and guiding me through a lot of things. When I was down, you helped me up. And when I didn't have any things to keep me going, you believed in me. Thanks for everything. Love, Jeremy.
Will the parents of Rinaldi Voyard please stand? To my parents, thank you. For your love and your caring, I wouldn't have ever made it if it wasn't for you guys. To my sister, my now and forever bestest bud, I'll always be your fatso. To Uncle Ray, you wrote the book, but now I can finally start adding chapters. To Auntie Erla, nobody embarrasses me like you can, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you, I will always be your honorary son, whether you like it or not. To Guy, the hot-headed troublemaker, who regardless always had my back, you are my best friend. To Booby, what can I say about your impact on my life? I like you real hard and always have a place in my heart. Mr. Ban, I have wonderful teachers and I thank them all, but you were the teacher who, through thick and thin, when I gave you trouble, you always had my back. I can't say enough thank yous to these people for influencing me in everything I've done, but I will. Thank you. Love, Rinaldi.
Music stand.